Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the time has arrived for the final round of the ARC Indy Lights Championship. Getting off to a very sideways start here, as we have just gotten underway in qualifying here at Long Beach. Very interesting circuit for a finale. It's certainly gonna, well, it's gonna be challenging, obviously. That kind of goes without saying. Street circuits are never easy. Same size field as last week. Same 8-car running order. As that's also the root cause of why this is the finale. There was technically supposed to be another round, but now we're gonna have 9. As I open my mouth, here comes Jackson Tate. And Matthew Stotts goes around. He's clearly not adjusting too well to those cold tires. And he's going to stay there and wait for that driver to pass by. I'm not actually sure who that was. That might have been... we do have 2 drivers that were not here last week and haven't made many starts as of late. Well, one just disconnected, but and then the other one is Fidel Fabian. I don't think this is his first start in Indy Lights, but it's probably like maybe his second or third. I'm sure he hasn't made too many other than the original Freedom 75 that kicked everything off, and he has smacked the wall outside of turn 1. And so that lap is over. Who was that going into turn 1? Matthew Stotts. His lap wasn't ruined because he spun around, didn't hit anything, so he's gonna head through the fountain section. Looking at the way the input telemetry is showing, he seems to have not so subtly changed his driving style a little bit to accommodate for the fact that the car doesn't seem to have a whole lot of lateral grip. Especially if he drops out of 3rd gear. We were having some connectivity problems as Jackson Tate, who would have been the 9th car, disconnects. So now we only have 7. And across the line, the first lap of the session's a 23.9. I expect you're going to get a little faster as the session goes on. People are just trying to, get used to things. Stotts gives the wall a nice smack on the exit there. Grip's still escaping him right at the moment. Make a quick check of the penalty situation because there may be penalties in play. Last week, Thursday, was a little bit chaos. There's just 2 5-1s though, so nothing groundbreaking as far as like a qualifying ban or anything. On board Fidel Fabian as he's making his way through Sector 2. We got a little squirrely there. Very squirrely on the exit of that corner. Numbers are hard. Heading down the back straightaway, AJ Knickel runs a 26.6, still nowhere near his teammate's pace at this moment. Connor Hannock has since rejoined. Through the final hairpin goes Fabian, and he will make his way steadily up to the line for this, to count this lap. So 25-7. Billy Tarji gets a grid penalty for the pit lane. And he wasn't here last week, but I don't think he started in a while either. Or made a start in a while, I should say. Now this is an outlap. What am I looking at? Oh, catching AJ around in the start of the third sector. He'll just return it right back to the pit lane. Julian Lozano jumps to second on the board at 24.4. And apparently I'm blind. AJ ran a 24.6, not a 26.6. He, just like everybody else, is wrestling the car. It seems like that's going to be a recurring theme for this week. It's just no grip. Car sliding. Call it Formula Drift while we're at it. Okay, I don't think he actually hit that. I think that was just lag. I didn't even notice that. Fidel Fabian got to the top of the board at 23.56 for him. Considering he hasn't made many starts, that's sort of a bit of a dark horse lap right there. I was not ready for him to top the charts. See if Matthew Stotts has an answer. He's making his way towards Sector 2 now. Julian Lozano with a 23.4. Home track advantage a little bit, I think. He's gonna just barely eke ahead of Fidel. And then Luis Ramirez attempting to break the plane of reality with a 22.667. Oh my word. I can't even look at him. I can't even tell where he is. That's insane. How is he not disconnecting, but Jackson Tate is? Truly one of the greatest questions of our generation right there. See if Matthew Stotts has an answer. That 23.9 used to be a pole time. Alright, a 22.5 or 20. I can't read numbers, man. A 22.20. That'll take that pole position right back. This has been a pretty tightly contested qualifying session. Everybody is starting what should be their final laps here, or has already started, one or the other. AJ Kanickel will cross the line. If this is a lap, it is indeed a lap. Barely takes the pole spot away by 0.02 over Stotts. So make that the 5th different person that's held the top time in this session thus far. Matthew Stotts is going to have this chance and one more to try and topple that 22.18. Can he do it here? Yes, a 21.6. Now we're really getting in the realm of speed here. That might be tough for AJ to match, especially if he's got some, a bit of... Oh, never mind. He had some dirty air off of Lozano's car, but Lozano took to an exit space and got out of the Canadian's way. Vigilant for any other fast laps that get set. Lozano returned to the pits, so his session is over. The first to complete the session, here comes Luis Ramirez. Down the front stretch, he will run No faster. What about Knickel? He finds time, but it is not enough. I think Tarji is on a lap, as is Connor Hannock, and Fidel Fabian is getting near the end of his final run here. Final hairpin, let's see if he has anything left to show. He'll jump Lozano with a 22.69, nice, but he will get no further. Matthew Stott's just to flex on everyone, runs a 20.96 to definitely, undoubtedly lock that pole position right up. Tarji and Hannock with nothing to offer. And DIVEBOMB elected not to make a lap. That was fast. I was like staring out the window and I just suddenly hear "Urgh!" So yeah, Alright, that's enough of that body. The grid rundown goes as follows. Matthew Stotts with a dominating pole position. Only driver to break into the 20s. Followed by his teammate, AJ Knickel. Then Luis Ramirez. Fidel Fabian. Julian Lozano. Connor Hannock. DIVEBOMB. And then Billy Tarji got a pit line violation, which relegates him to starting in last. However, Dylan did not qualify, he did not make any laps, so he is still very much an unknown quantity. He may very well have the pace to make the last to first challenge if he can keep himself out of trouble, which, considering the track we're at, could be a little difficult to do. Long Beach is, you gotta be alert on a street circuit. It's notoriously difficult, especially if this car, from what I can see, is lacking much in the way of a lateral grip in the center and exit of most turns here. At least that's what I'm ascertaining based on what I just saw in qualifying. A lot of people having to wrestle the wheel on corner exits, and that can lead to, well, spins, obviously. But here we go. The obvious thing for the strategies are set. The starting lights are lighting up, and the Long Beach finale is green. Matthew Stotts gets away almost perfectly. Luis Ramirez gets a good jump on Knickel. And he'll have the inside, a bit of lag, but I don't think that contact actually happened. Billy Tarji hangs out in the back as we get towards turn 1. Admittedly, not the worst strategy to perform. Just trying to make it through the first lap and continue, and AJ Knickel gets leg turned, I can only assume. He's not the only one. Fidel Fabian also gets turned around, and he's stuck in the fountain. Luckily, he can't actually get stuck in the fountain in this game, but if it were real life, he would have been stuck in it. But no yellow flag, as those were isolated incidents. It is a yeah? We want to look at the battle game. The game is confused. It is saying Lozano is 4th. He's very clearly P2. What is the interval doing? Hannock is not... The game is lying. Ramirez is not 3rd. He also has no rear wing. And lag in the background has put both of them in the wall. And now Billy's... No, that's not his car that fell apart. What is going on with the interval? Please explain. There's another spin into the hairpin. Hannock and Fidel are involved, and Lozano. And Fidel was never involved. He just drove through it. And now we are under caution, as I think literally every car on the track, barring Stotts and Dylan, have had something go wrong on the first lap. I want to act like this. I want to act like this surprises me, but I can't because it didn't. Who even needs qualifying, am I right? Dylan's already back up to P2 for basically doing nothing but avoiding crashes and spins. Sometimes that's just all you take. That's just all it takes. To finish first you have to finish, or something or other. 18 laps here, so... we can only have so many cautions before we just reach the checkered flag. One quick mention of the point standings is I've finally found a way to get on there back on SLP. My tablet's done being dysfunctional. Basically by starting this event, Dylan Bam has locked up the championship. There aren't enough cars in the race to actually cost him enough points to be in threat of losing the championship. With a 171 to 133 point lead over his own teammate, Luis Ramirez. 38 point lead is definitely going to be enough to secure the bag there with only 8 cars running. However, there is still definitely a battle to play for second in points. Luis Ramirez, Matthew Stotts, and AJ Knickel are relatively close to the mark, but the closest battle is definitely between Stotts and Knickel. In fact, that's just about the only battle. As even then, all Luis really has to do is not get a points penalty of any description, and not finish in literally dead last. However, he is currently not doing super hot on that, as he is running in dead last. But that won't matter unless AJ wins the race. Or Stotts. The two 44-hour drivers of AJ and Matthew Stotts are only separated by 17 points. So there is still something to play for there. I don't actually know this series' point system. I assume it's the same as IndyCar, though. Are keeping the caution at a very low speed. Matthew Stotts is going crazy with the tire warming. By doing this, the caution under the pit limiter, we should be able to go green here, as the field is only a couple of corners away. Connor Hannick has spun on the caution lap. I think Ericsson hit him personally. As well, if Hannick didn't get here in time, I don't think we'd be waiting for him because he did spin on his own failure. Round to the final hairpin, and Stotts controls when we take the green. Whenever he puts the throttle down, and the throttle is now down, we are green once more from Long Beach. Now here's hoping the single file restart will maybe make things work a little better. Maybe. Fidel Fabian and AJ Knickel too wide. Definitely longtime rivals in Rallycross, but they haven't had many run-ins as of late. Too wide to turn one. The inside lane will benefit AJ Knickel, and Connor Hannock has been absolutely demolished heading through T1. And I think I saw, I don't want to press that. Yes, he has lost a rear wheel. Absolutely been driven through by I'm not sure who. And we are under caution. How did this happen? What in the world happened to Dylan and Stotts that Fidel is now the race leader? What did I miss when I watched Connor Hannock get launched? Did something happen in the fountain section? Based on the fact that Stotts is now in 7th place, what I'm going to go ahead and assume happened is Stotts probably looped it and collected Dylan. Fidel probably just threaded the needle and got himself the race lead as a result. That's my guess. So we're under a second caution here from Long Beach. As Luis Ramirez disconnects from the race, leaving us with only 6 cars. And all but one of them are in the pit lane as we speak. Julian Lozano. Excuse me. Julian Lozano elects to stay out and grab what could be very critical track position here. He is, however, foregoing the opportunity to serve a mandatory pit stop. Alright, quick drink break. It's already happening. I'm already losing my touch on my vocabulary. Well, we'll definitely be green this time. There's not a doubt in my mind about that. So we head through the parking lot section. As you know, as is tradition, Julian can control when we go. Once he clips the apex of the final hairpin, he is able to floor it as he pleases. And he kind of burped the throttle a couple of times, but now we are finally green for the 3rd time from Long Beach. AJ Knickel is pretty much on top of Fidel's car as we head towards T1, and DIVEBOMB is going to look for a move of his own into turn 1. The trackside camera brilliantly looking at the racing action. Not really. 2x2 into turn 1, and we all make it through there, basically. My English comprehension didn't make it through there, but all of the race cars did, and that's what matters. Oh my god, please help me. Fidel Fabian under threat from Matthew Stotts. He's not going to be able to do much to keep that thing behind him, I would suspect. If Stotts gets the inside lane, and he is away. Next, he'll size up Julian Lozano. Meanwhile, AJ Knickel is going to try and find a way around DIVEBOMB. And I'm going to try and find a way to stop having to mute my microphone every 5 seconds because my body is having a meltdown right now. I can't even express. Dylan with a massively better exit from that hairpin. That's not going to give much of a chance for AJ to do anything there. Fidel and Stotts both pit. I can kind of see why, though, to be fair. It looks like they both are missing at least one of their wings. That is more unfortunate luck. Those two are probably going to be talking with each other after the race, since they're close friends, and I'm sure that's not going to be a fun conversation. It's also not the first time this year that they have collided with one another. I think back to GT3 Silverstone. That was a fun conversation to be next to. Not really. Julian Lozano also pits at this time. He's also friends with them. I don't really know if that's related or if that's just him cutting his losses and taking his mandatory and hoping that there's another safety car, which is a fair bet, but now we've got the field pretty well spread out, so it might be a little more difficult. The way that Dylan just took that hairpin didn't even look real. Curiously, Dylan is not using the pit exit as, like, take a wider line into turn 1. AJ Knickel did the same thing. Scarborough commenting on what actually happened via the game, and then Fidel was just nearby, so. And there is Fabian getting out of the way for blue flags. AJ Knickel, though, had a very good middle sector. There are pits, that's just a cone, never mind. I was like, there are car parts flying. No, they're not. So while the lead two battle it out, even Billy Tarji pits now, which means that these two are going to be the only ones currently on the lead lap as they come back around to take start lap 9. If I could start speaking English, that would be of great benefit to me. So we're about to cross a halfway distance here. And only 2 cars are on the lead lap. That just sounds great to me. Actually, Billy Tarji is just up the road. He's not yet a lap down, but he's not far away from it either. And it seems like in the near future there will be a battle for 4th, as despite being on different laps, Stotts is still able to get a position over Fidel Fabian if he passes him. And, you know, it's been shown he's got all of the pace in the world. He ran a minute 20 lap time in qualifying, but that does not matter if you get involved in a crash. Slow cars don't win races, but neither do destroyed ones. Stotts will move into 4th place. I don't really know if Fidel even tried to... He didn't really put up too much of a fuss about it, I don't think. Right on board with AJ Kinnickle as he attempts to try and make some kind of headway on who's basically confirmed to be the season champion. Now that Luis Ramirez is completely out of the race with 7th place credit. And with nobody else close enough to him in points to even think about taking the title away from him, as the next closest is Matthew Stott, 60 points behind, and he's also running in 4th place right now, so none of that really matters. Dylan and AJ seem to be about even on pace, more or less. Dylan probably has a slight advantage, like a slight edge, but AJ is better than Dylan in certain corners. A little wall tap. The hairpin, wall taps aside, is not one of them, which is probably the most important corner since it leads you onto the front stretch. Recently, Matthew Stotts also overtook Billy Targi, and I completely missed that one as well, because I didn't even know they were near each other on the track at all. And the cars that are a lap down are all pretty spread out too, so we're probably not going to see much of anything coming from them back there. Having said that, Fidel Fabian is actually catching Billy Targi pretty rapidly. I'm beginning to wonder if there's something wrong with Billy's car, or if he just doesn't have any confidence in it. And Billy's just gonna he's not even gonna resist. He's just not even gonna think about racing for that, because there's clearly an outclass here. The game appears to believe that AJ is a minute 12 behind. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Another wall tap. That one probably did some bad damage to his car, if I had to guess. Oh yeah, you can see his crab walking. He's got his wheel turned like halfway to the left. So, another one taken down. Dylan Bam is going to win this championship by default more than anything else. He's going to win the championship, but he's going to win the race just by way of being the last car standing, more or less. Unless he himself goes for a tumble. I'm just gonna keep the onboard camera on Dylan Bam as he, basically just goes about his business. This is not much more than just a day in the office for Dylan Bam. Leading like this, AJ's his closest threat and his car is wounded. Just need 6 more good laps, and the race and the championship is bagged. That said, it's not exactly mindless. He is still fighting the car himself. The Formula Cs are not being kind to anybody today at all. Case in point. Tarji has caught back up to Fidel Fabian after basically letting him go by earlier in the race. As elsewhere on the track, Dylan approaches 4 laps to go, I believe. But we may have a battle for 4th place yet. A few more good turns from Billy, or one bad one from Fabian, and we will have a fight for position. And as the attacking car, I don't think Billy's just gonna move aside or just let him go. He's probably gonna fight for it now. Fidel had his chance to run, and he very clearly didn't get too far. Billy has just run his fastest Sector 1 in his efforts to get up there to Fidel Fabian, and he's there. He has indeed gotten up there, almost understeer straight into a tire barrier, which would have been, well, it certainly would have been the end of this potential battle. Oh, nearly spins out there, too. Everybody is just on the edge right now. There's no grip anywhere. There hasn't been all race long, all day long even. Doesn't matter if it's the car in 1st or the car in 6th. Nobody has traction on this racetrack right now. Billy he thought about looking down the inside, but ran out of straightaway. Almost runs out of traction. I don't really. He seems to have saved it though, as Lozano retires from the event with just a couple of laps to go. At that point, you might as well have just closed it out just to say you finished. If he didn't have any damage, which I'm not sure if he did or not. It's very plausible. I mean, this is Long Beach we're talking about. Tarji has made a couple of mistakes in the last handful, in the last lap or two, and, well, Fidel simply hasn't been making those mistakes. Fabian is again clear of Billy Tarji. Meanwhile, Dylan Bam has taken 2 to go here. There's just, oh, the two back markers are close together again. And they're both with AJ Knickel, who is a lap ahead of them. He may come into play here. He's actually going to let them go by, maybe. No, he's not. He's going to obstruct Fidel Fabian as he's trying to keep Billy Targi behind. Now he'll be out of the way. But having been forced the long way around, has lost Fidel some time. Surprisingly, Billy does not act upon this. Meanwhile, Dylan begins the final lap around the track to close off the Indy Lights Championship. But there's still something in it here for Fidel Fabian and Billy Targi that's somewhat worth keeping our eye on. Billy is clear into turn 1. Can you get the braking done? He'll spin out. He will get the braking done, but at what cost? He'll save the car just about, but that's going to cost him his 4th place right there, and his rear wing for good measure. As if just to eliminate any chance he had of getting back at him by the end of the lap. But there was no getting at Dylan Bam whatsoever today. Last, the first challenge completed. Championship secured. Dylan Bam wins at Long Beach. And excuse me. A very distant, very damaged unfront winged AJ Knickel will still come home in 2nd place. And then Matthew Stotts rounds out the podium a lap down. This is honestly nothing new. This is just kind of Long Beach in general. It tends to produce this sort of racing, which is to say, not racing. The damage finally catches up to AJ Knickel and he spins out on the exit of the literal last turn of the race. Brings it across the line in 6th gear to close out the ARC Indy Lights Championship here. I'm not going to lie, there isn't a whole lot to do podium interviews on, but I also have no reason not to do them, so...
This is the podium we should be seeing every race.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
You know, minus the not having to really race for it part.
Yeah, so there was a race going on? I thought it was just an open track day.
Sadly.
See, our podium finishers have arrived. And we'll start with, I mean, I heard some whispers of what actually happened, but I'll just get the official word on it from 3rd place finisher Matthew Stotts to kind of explain the incident that has put you a lap down and widely out of contention here at Long Beach.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. My attention went away. You talked about what happened? Like,
yeah, how'd you get here?
Well,
how'd you get a lap down?
So the game is the game just had its moment. Me and Julian just touched, paused, no homo, and we were stuck. We were just stuck together. We couldn't get off each other, and that's what led to the incident.
Pause.
Yeah, pause. Yeah, sorry, pause again. And then that's when we started. That's when we started our comeback, baby. That's when we started our comeback drive. And then I just sat in 3rd like a loser the entire time. Not much really went on for me, as you can tell.
Try to make a comeback drive when you're a lap down and there's 5 cars in the race.
Alright, buddy. Alright, man. Why on?
There's nowhere to go back to.
Well, there's the other 2 down there. I mean, the lap times won't speak for themselves, but I could have had gone that far back. I was technically. But anyways, enough from the worst person in the party.
Well, no, the worst person is me because I wasn't even in the race.
That was stop it.
I objectively did not finish the race because I didn't start it. AJ Knickel is our second place finisher, having a short-lived battle with DIVEBOMB, but ultimately fell short. What in your professional opinion was the thing that made Dylan faster than you, or if you even have an idea at all?
I would say the thing that made him faster was when I hit the wall and got 27 right rear damage on the rear shock. That definitely made him faster.
That'll do it.
Yeah, no, I stepped out maybe 3 inches or something, and I tapped the wall on lap 11, and I finished the race with, basically 3 wheels pointing the right direction. So I'm content with second. In a bigger field, it would have been a lot bigger of a points loss. It's the last race of the season. We got away with, an okay finish, all considering how garbage our luck's been all season. 2 ovals obviously didn't help with that, and getting trapped a lap down at Texas, and then also the Indy race getting taken out on the last lap by somebody chopping our nose off. But yeah, it's been a rough season. I am happy to get it over with, and on to IndyCar on Monday.
And then as for over with, DIVEBOMB hardly looked in doubt the second the green flag flew. Pretty much only had to start the race to win the championship, and I'd say he did a little more than that. Were there really any big emotions going on as you take this trophy home, or is this kind of just another one off the list for you?
I'm disappointed. Luis disconnected halfway through that, because I don't know if he's gonna finish second in the points now.
It's something. I mean, Stott's got only third. I think Luis would still technically have 7th place points. I don't remember the system's points format, so I don't know if he has scored 17 more points than Stotts has. Either way, I mean, it's still a hypothetical Constructors' Championship wins, maybe. Probably. Actually, who am I kidding? Obviously. Yeah, I guess, Dylan has bigger fish to fry, even as the race and championship winner. I couldn't quite get perfection. I guess that's... Some people are just never satisfied, ladies and gentlemen. But... That'll wrap things up for the Indy Lights Championship, as AJ commented a moment ago. The next you'll hear from me will be Monday's IndyCar race, which hopefully will have more than 8 people start. But that'll wrap things up today. And as for mandatory sponsorship plugging, shout out to DIVEBOMB, the official title sponsor of AutoRacingConnected. They write news articles on all kinds of events happening across motorsports, and they have a meme page. I don't know why I always say that as a separate thing, but I do. To Sim League Pro, the website that ARC has been using for maybe a year or 2, I think 2 actually, to help organize, recruit, and track stats for all of the different series in ARC. Any prospective racers can easily find us or any other league on their forum pages. To shout out to the Burning Rubber podcast, run by a bunch of people who weren't here in the race today. Well, I think actually Julian and Fidel sometimes are part of it. But they interview a bunch of the up-and-coming talents in the American oval racing scene, dirt and tarmac alike. They've had a few guests. They've had a few relevant guests in their time existing, and they sponsor real-life NASCARs in the Xfinity series. Shout out to James McAdam. I got distracted by a tree outside. James McAdam, who through our partnership with him, allows us to use his screenshots and other in-game photography for use in our social media promotional posts. And then to AJ Nickel Design, the design, group run by our league owner, and he does the overlays and graphics for aforementioned promotional posts. But that'll wrap things up for today for the Indy Lights Championship from Long Beach. On to IndyCar on Monday. I don't remember, I believe it is an off week for AF1. But yeah, goodbye.